NYYST. This is New York. Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York. Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York. Yankee sports talk, homie, New York. Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 266 of the NYYST podcast. I'm your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And SGR. And we're presented to you by NyynewsTV. Please check us out on YouTube. When's the show drop on YouTube, Chris?
This show? You mean? Or we're doing other shows?
No, when's our show dropping? Yeah,
Monday, 7 p.m., right?
Monday, 7 p.m. Check us out on YouTube if you want to get a little different feeling for the show. Watch us on the YouTube channel. If not, we drop Monday morning audio. We're recording here Sunday night. Tomorrow at some point, the owners and players are going to meet again, and I don't really care to discuss it any further than that because it doesn't matter.
How about if you're listening and you're not going to watch, if you're listening, leave us a 5-star rating review on Apple Podcasts. Really, honestly, please, and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to help support the show, and all that, head to patreon.com/NyynewsPete.
Download our app.
You got an app, okay. And if you're watching, smash that like and subscribe. And that's it.
Should be right down there.
It should be right here. Just smash and subscribe. Okay? And that's the show, folks. And that's the show.
I mean, it really could be if you want it to be.
We got some big news for the network this week. I'm fucking pumped, dude. I'm pumped. We got Ozzie Guillen and his sons joining the network. That's pretty huge, dude. I'm pretty excited about it.
Is it huge or huge?
It's huge. Let me tell you something. Ozzie Guillen was one of those managers that as a team that he wasn't managing, I probably hated him at the time because he always ran his mouth and I always wanted to beat him, but I always respected him.
I guess we can never have Nick Swisher on the pod now.
I forgot about that.
Was that before or after he was with the Yankees? It was right before, right?
Well, they had beef because he was his manager in Chicago.
Right. And was he on the White Sox right before the Yankees?
Yes, he got traded here from Chicago.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, you should take that little filter off the top of that mic. I bet you it sounds better.
You think so? But I like it.
Oh, you like it? You could leave it on.
Ooh, I didn't know it was going to be like this, though.
Yeah, it's a good mic, dude.
Does it sound better without the... What are these called again?
You sound better. It's kind of like a pop filter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could be the show, pretty much. Pop.
Yeah, I don't use pop filters.
All right, so we've been teasing this for a couple of weeks now. We are going to do trivia. I think it's going to finally happen next week. Before we get into what I want to talk about today, are you guys going to come up with a bet?
Yeah, we're working on one. We're getting close. I liked SGR's idea in the text. One of us has to wear something of the other's choosing.
Yeah,
it's got to be obnoxious.
Yeah, like I have something already in mind that I think would be funny.
Well, I think what should be perfect when Chris loses, because he's 0 forever in games on this show, is he has to wear a shirt that says "I heart Dr. Fauci" on it.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know what
yourself.
I don't know what the equivalent would be for SGR.
I know what it is.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna get a dildo hat that has like a dildo
hat.
Yeah, like
what
a
do you
hat.
mean?
All right, that's fine.
With a dildo on the top, and you're gonna have
what
to
do
wear
you mean?
it. And we're gonna call him. We're gonna call him Dildo Guy Rye for
you don't.
For a month.
You don't have to get one. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
let's be
honest. It's not going to happen. You're not going to beat me, and you're going to Dr. Go Fauci. But the thing is, though, you're going to have to wear that shirt all the time until the lockout's over. Like even to work underneath clothes.
No way, dude. Then you have to wear the dildo hat to work.
He teaches children.
That would go for well in elementary school.
Exactly. Well, it would go well if you wore the Dr. Fauci shirt. They'd love you. You'd probably get a raise.
Yeah, I would.
So we're gonna work on trivia. That should be our goal for next week. As I said earlier, the two sides are supposed to meet Monday. You know, like I said, I don't really care to discuss it any further. We wasted a lot of time on that last episode, and
I actually thought it was great. I thought it was great content.
I thought it was stupid because
you thought it was stupid because you lost the debate. Is really
You
what
can't
it
say our
comes down to.
content's stupid. That's leaving that's putting it out there. It's not.
Yeah, you
No.
can't. It's bad energy,
Vital.
bro. You're a
No,
low
it's
energy
okay.
Jeb lately
All right.
because of the COVID.
Look, people expect certain things, and I'm gonna tell them just straight how it is. Okay.
You're mad because I made a solid point and you couldn't debate it. And really,
No.
that's if we want to let the viewers peek behind the curtain here. I took a jab at your ego because I sounded so intelligent,
Right.
and it upset you. Really,
Okay. Wow.
we blame it on the COVID brain, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it. And we move on.
Okay.
So
Dr.
let me
Fauci.
ask you a question. If we're not
What?
going to talk about it, which I agree, I don't want to talk about it. What the fuck are we going to talk about? Are we just going to sit here and narrate the
I think we're gonna
the Chiefs
think
game?
I think we're going to talk about your mom for the next 20 minutes.
That's fine.
But
That's fine. I have a
I
lot
think
of stuff to get off my chest.
our mom.
No,
I think,
my
and
mom.
I think it's time that Ryan's mom gets in on it too.
No. See, that's where you're.
That's crossing
crossing
the line, dude.
All right.
That's a line that shouldn't be crossed.
Well, there's I think really if we're going to do anything, it's all going to be kind of like hypotheticals and fun type debate stuff. Not that I don't know if this is really fun to debate, but we keep bringing up things that the Yankees need to do when the lockout is over. And one of the things that keeps escaping all the conversations is Aaron Judge's extension. Aaron Judge is entering the final year of his contract. Ryan, maybe you could look it up what the estimated arbitration number is going to be. I would think it's probably somewhere close to 20, especially coming off the year that he came off of last year. The Yankees, they might be flying too close to the sun with this and letting him get to free agency. I think one of their priorities really should be, in addition to signing Carlos Correa, in addition to getting a first baseman, right there is giving Aaron Judge his contract. Everybody, a lot of fans on social media are like, oh, you got to give him the C. You got to give him the C. Well, what are you going to give him a C for if you don't give him a contract extension?
He's got a projection for $17.1 million this year in arbitration.
No, that's low. I think it's low.
According to Sports Illustrated.
All right. Well, Sports Illustrated.
All right.
There's still a publication. They still count.
Okay. It's Sports Illustrated. Okay. They say something.
What did he make last year?
Okay. All right. Sports Illustrated does not have the deal. All right. Got some dead air here. One second. Look that up. Okay, let's look that up here.
10.17 last year.
Yeah, that's a healthy raise.
That's definitely right in the ballpark there.
Yeah, that's a healthy raise, but for the production that he gives you, $17 million is.
I think 20 is fair.
We'll see what it comes out to be, but the Yankees. Excuse me. I don't think they should be looking at. I don't think they should be looking at what his arbitration number should be. I think they should be looking at what it's going to take to sign him for the next 7 to 8 years.
Well, do you want to almost even avoid arbitration this year too, or you could end up with a Dellin Betances type situation?
What do you mean a Dellin Betances type situation?
Where all right, so you're saying right now the projected arbitration is around $17 million, where you're saying maybe Judge's camp is going to ask for around the $20 million range, then they're going to have to go to court and battle it out. Remember with Betances and Randy Levine, they were fighting each other on each other's level.
That's what arbitration really is.
I'm talking more about arbitration, not the player. I know Judge is at a much higher level, but I'm saying what happened between.
I'm sure it would probably behoove both sides to avoid any contentiousness like that.
Yeah, because we talked about once you go to trial, pretty much arbitration is the player fighting for why he's valuable, and it's pretty much ownership having to put a case together as to why they're not as valuable as they think. And then things get tricky, because then you have bad blood running.
But it doesn't, I mean, even regardless of that, why, this is something that, yes, it is a word. Okay. This is something that the Yankees, in my opinion, shouldn't even, we shouldn't even be talking about this right now, that Aaron Judge is playing the final year of his contract.
Well, you think, I'll ask two questions. Maybe you can't answer the first one. The first one is, because we've seen like certain deals get done during this lockout, seems to be internal. Because it's an internal thing, couldn't the Yankees technically?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Quick no. Second thing, the way the Yankees have done business of late,
Yankees can't do anything with Aaron Judge because he's a major league player, so they can't.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, the way the Yankees have done business of late, don't you think they will make this the top priority to get this over with, to see where they stand, and then, because they're so fucking cheap lately, they'll do that, and just to see kind of where they stand money wise?
No, because if you're going to sit there and tell me they don't have money to do anything, why are they going to sign a guy that they already have under contract?
Well, then maybe you won't see that happen. You won't see it happen. This is a major problem for me, is that you're gonna essentially let him test the open market. And is there going to become a number now that somebody else is going to put in front of him that the Yankees aren't going to want to match? Well,
you're going to let Aaron Judge.
Well, you got to imagine. You got to imagine that even if they do, it's going to be overvalued at that point.
Are you going to let Aaron Judge walk out the door?
No, you can't. So they're just going to. They're going
if he's
to overpay.
If he's healthy, do you have any? If Aaron Judge is healthy this year, you have any reservations that he's not going to be an MVP caliber player this year?
No,
as long as he's healthy.
And he proved last year that he could stay healthy. So I don't know. It's tough, because let's just say the season started today. Where does this team, as it stands, where does this team end the season? Are they even making the playoffs right now?
This is not a playoff team.
So
maybe a wild card.
So you're really,
I don't even think they are.
I know. I'm saying maybe.
So if you're faced with that right off the bat, and then you're also telling me that you're gonna worry about the luxury tax and all of that, maybe Judge isn't a priority for them at all.
Then what's a priority for them? Losing?
I don't know.
Rebuilding the team,
building a World Series caliber team for this year.
What is their priority?
What's their priority if their best player is not their priority?
Think about all the question marks still. Like, we keep talking about shortstop, we keep talking about the outfield, keep talking about first base. We don't even have a fucking starting rotation that's respectable at this point.
No,
we don't even have a bullpen that's really respectable, to be honest. Where are we going? Where's this team headed? It's a really scary time right now. This lockout, has given you more time to think without anything happening, which I know is not the Yankees' fault, but the more time that passes, regardless of the lockout, the more you really start to look at where this team stands. And if you just ask yourself that question alone of, if this season started today, where do we stand? You're right. I don't think they even make the playoffs, and there's still so many question marks. So many.
So should the Yankees be looking at trading Aaron Judge when the lockout's over?
No.
All right. Well, there's so many question marks, and we have no idea. We really don't have a good grasp on what this team's plan is. Are you think they're closer to rebuilding than they are going for a title right now?
Dude, if that's the case, we have a much bigger problem on our hands than we even think. How'd the last rebuild go? Good?
It didn't.
Oh, okay. So yeah, definitely you want to avoid that, Definitely want to avoid this again, where we become the Oakland A's for 5 years.
But you're looking at it. You're looking at something very rare with the Yankees in that they have one of the top 10 players in baseball. You have to. I don't think that's being a homer. I think that's being fair. When the guy's healthy, he performs like a top 10 player in the sport.
By the way, got traded, dude.
Huh?
I said Tyler Wade got traded. They don't have the top 10 guy anymore.
Yeah, listen. Let's all be fair for a second. Should Aaron Judge have MVP on his fucking resume?
You should have one. Yeah,
At least, right? I mean, he's got rookie. He won Rookie of the Year.
yes.
Okay. The guy, time and time again, sets the tone in the playoffs. We're talking about easily a top 10 guy. I don't think that's being a homer at all.
No,
We're talking about arguably top 3 best right fielders in the game defensively. I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's even much to argue there. I think it's
we
top
say
3.
it all the time. It's seriously a crime how underrated he is defensively.
Yeah, you don't really appreciate him defensively unless you're watching every game, because every single game he's making a big play.
Yeah, every game. It's not just the arm either. The dude can move.
Yeah,
For a big guy, he can move.
covers ground.
So I don't think you're being a homer at all to say that he's top 10 player in the league.
Why is he still not? But that's the thing. What are the Yankees waiting on?
It's like this team did a bag of shrooms, and then the trip never went away. They're just lost. They're in fairy tale land, and they just don't know where reality is anymore. It's like everything's upside down to them.
You got to think they're waiting, and they've been waiting because of his health in the past.
Yeah, but now the waiting game's over. I mean, what more could the guy?
Well, now
prove?
I think the clock starts to tick now because he showed us that he's.
But then, what are you going to do about all these question marks? Then you're going to tell me that signing Judge is going to get in the way of that?
That's why this offseason is so important to see where this team's going to be at, what they're spending.
The serious problem here is that I think the Yankees they need to go out there and make significant moves to improve the team. But with the way the payroll is constructed, and we don't know where the luxury tax is going to sit, that it almost seems as if 2023 is going to be the year where they're going to go out there and spend a lot of money because they'll have a lot of money coming off the books. And at that point, I mean, you're going to waste another year of Garrett Cole. You're going to waste another, you wanted Giancarlo Stanton to be healthy. He was healthy last year. You wanted Aaron Judge to be healthy. He was healthy last year. And these guys are now going to be pushing another, they'll be in their age 30 season, right? Next year, both of them?
Yeah.
I mean, so what are we doing here? What are we waiting on?
If you had a crystal ball 5 years ago, or 2016, let's say, when that morning you woke up and Andrew Miller was traded, if you had a crystal ball show you what the 2022 going into the 2022 offseason would be like, and you saw this, I mean, how disgusted would you be?
Look, when that happened, if you told me that we'd be recording on, or we weren't even doing the podcast yet, but whatever, you told me that we'd be talking about the Yankees on January 23rd, and they hadn't won a World Series after the rebuild. In my mind, I would say to myself, they didn't win because they didn't make the right moves. Not that they haven't made any. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they're not making. They're not winning because they're not making the moves that they need to be making. Not that it's almost as if they're half-assing it. I would have never thought the Yankees would have half-assed trying to win a World Series after 2016.
Here's my biggest issue. Of course, it's frustrating that in the handful of years since the rebuild, they haven't won anything. Of course, that's frustrating. But the most frustrating part is, given everything we've been through to this point, you would think that if this team was falling short, that going into the 2022 season, we'd at least be a team that was one piece away. Just like we thought we were with Garrett Cole, not having that ace. You would at least hope to look at that crystal ball and see that we were just one piece away from really being confident that this team was built for a World Series.
Yeah, but they whiffed on a lot of things that they tried to do too.
Yeah, but think about it now. I mean, we're not just post rebuild. We're not just, couple years falling short. We are to a point now where there's so many question marks that we don't even know if this team would make the playoffs. And that's fucking beyond concerning. I mean, that's just catastrophic failure, in my opinion, at that point.
Well, why do the Yankees have so many question marks? Well, they were wrong about Gleyber Torres. He was supposed to be a cornerstone of his team. You know, you don't even know if he's going to finish out his arbitration years on this team now, right? They don't have a first baseman. I mean, the Yankees, they went the Luke Voit route, which was fine, but you saw that wasn't sustainable, right? You're looking at it now. Huh?
I said we did. I don't know if they did.
Well, they obviously didn't. Well, they did at some. I finally realized it last year. That's why they went out and got Anthony Rizzo. But that's a major. People undervalue first base so much, but when you have a great first baseman, especially one that is competent at the plate, that makes your whole infield better.
SGR has said it in the past. Go back to every big Yankee World Series. They've had a first baseman that is a big name who was a big part of this lineup and a big part of their defense.
Well, I mean, they had Tino Martinez and Mark Teixeira. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
Keep going back. I mean, they've always had a guy at first base that was the guy. They've never just had some fucking fill-in Luke Voit type.
Chambliss, right?
Was Chris Chambliss the first baseman?
I believe so. Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig? He died, I think.
Yeah,
I heard he had Lou Gehrig's disease.
He did. Yeah.
He's first.
But I don't even like going back that far. I mean, you can take it in more recent memory.
Giambi.
Yeah. Well, how many World Series did Giambi win?
How many did he win?
Zero.
Zero with them? Really?
Yeah, he never won.
I thought he had one. I thought he had one. No.
He had 1-0 World Series.
He deserved one.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Fuck him.
But then you're also looking at, how the Yankees they missed behind the plate. I mean, Gary Sanchez isn't what we thought he would be. You're looking at a hole in center field because Brian Cashman fell in love with Aaron Hicks, and you're also you got holes in the rotation. So I mean, there are, you're right. You're not a piece away. That's why it's not so simple to say go and get Carlos Correa and he fixes all the problems, because okay, you sign him and then you're still looking at, you need a catcher, you need a first baseman, you need a center fielder, you need a number 2 behind Garrett Cole.
And we're dealing with ownership that seems to not want to go over the luxury tax. So you tell me how this is even remotely possible.
So you're talking about
how.
I mean, you're talking about a situation here where this team barely finished in the postseason last year, and Toronto's going to get better. And have the Yankees done anything to get better themselves?
No.
I mean, they're going to be. I mean, are they going to be a 4th place team? Are they going to be lucky? I mean, no, they wouldn't even, if they would finish in 4th place, they won't even be a wild card team, right?
No,
I mean, it's impossible.
Right.
Yes, impossible.
So, I don't take solace in the fact that people are like, oh, they won 92 games last year. What does that mean to me? Where did they end up? Where did they end up?
Doesn't mean shit, man. It's a scary time. It's a scary fucking time to be in.
I made this point, and I'm glad that, the Giants woke up and they fired Joe Judge and they're trying to do things a different way. But after this Giants season was over, there were reports out that they were going to keep him. And I was making the point that, I only root for 2 teams. And it seems that neither one of those teams were going to go the extra mile to kind of get past this malaise that they're in. And now, Mara got embarrassed enough where they're doing what they need to do now. And and people, and I know that not everybody that I interact with is a giant Yankee fan, so they're naturally going to be combative about that, and they're like, well, how could you compare Aaron Boone to Joe Judge when Aaron Boone makes the playoffs every year? I mean, is that the standard we're setting now, that Aaron Boone makes the postseason every year?
Never was when I grew up.
I mean, I understand how, because look, I remember really bad Giant football, and this is as bad as I can ever remember it at the tail end of this year, and I still watched every game. So you're not going to, so trust me, I understand how bad it was, but you also have to look at it if you're going to make the point that the Yankees, they make the playoffs every year. I mean, are we settle for being a second wild card and losing to our hated rivals? That's okay.
I think we have to be fair too, to a certain degree, that it's not necessarily management's fault, all of it, to where we are right now, but it's certainly their fault that we're still in it, if that makes sense.
Look,
for example, all right, sorry, you were continuing a point. I thought you were done.
But the point is that, you need the Giants, for the Giants to get past how bad they've been since the end of the Eli Manning era. They needed ownership to wake up and say, we can't continue to do things the way that we're doing it. And they did that. To their credit, they did that. They went outside the organization. They got a new general manager. They're going to go get a new
What's he, 15?
He's a young guy. It might be his early forward.
He's cute.
Is he cute?
He's cute.
They're going to go get a head coach outside of the organization. They're going to they're not going to do things the quote giant way, which hasn't worked in a decade.
Right. There's light at the end of your giant tunnel.
And I get it. The Yankees are still competitive, but what do we just want to be competitive? I mean, don't we strive for more?
Right.
We're the Oakland A's now.
I get it. You can't compare how bad the Giants have been to what the Yankees are going through, because the Yankees haven't missed the postseason and the Giants have been a fucking utter embarrassment. But still, if you're looking at it as a fan of both teams, which I am, you're waiting for ownership to do what is necessary to get you past where you are. And to Mara's credit, he's doing that. Is Hal going to wake up one day and be like, I need to do something different? Or is he just going to be fucking satisfied with the way things are because they win 92 games and they draw 2 million people and he makes X amount of revenue?
Well,
because for 10 years, you could say that John Mara was okay with that, but he's not anymore. What is Hal going to reach that point now?
He isn't there yet.
And is it because the Yankees are still competitive and the Yankees are still relevant?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Is that enough for him?
Let me ask you one question, because it kind of goes back to all the fans that we were hating on to a degree, because it's not the same thing. There was a lot of fans last year that it got to the wild card game and they said, I hope they lose because then Boone will be gone and so on and so forth.
Yeah. What changes?
But you were at the point already where they were in the postseason and anything could happen in the postseason. To root against your team at that point would A, be foolish just on its face, and B, if you don't know this team and organization by now, you would know that a loss in the wild card at that point wasn't gonna result in drastic changes. So my question to you is a little different. It's to start the year before the season even starts. If I told you that if this team missed the playoffs completely, it would finally wake Hal up for us to move on and to do things differently, would you take a down year for, and remember a baseball season is very long. So I'm talking about a season where they're not even close to making the postseason. Would you take that if you were guaranteed Hal Steinbrenner finally wakes up, fires who needs to fucking go, cleans house, and starts to build this team the way it's supposed to be built?
You're going to tell me he's going to do the right thing?
You're guaranteed. You're guaranteed that he's going to. You're not guaranteed World Series. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're guaranteed you're going to finally have an owner who's at least doing everything at his fingertip, everything that's available to him to build what he and what all of us feel is a World Series caliber team that's ready to win.
It's so hard to flush an entire season down the toilet.
Well, we flushed 5 or 6 already because
did you though? I mean,
yeah, we
at
did.
The end,
you just said it yourself. What's being competitive at this point?
You did because they didn't win, but did you went into the season knowing that they weren't going to?
No, but if we go based off of what you just said, and I agree with, that being competitive at this point is not giving us anything. If anything, it's almost bringing us more frustration. Then I don't know. I'd highly consider it. I hate the fact. Now, here's the flip side of the coin. The flip side of the coin is if he doesn't wake up, you're not guaranteeing that they lose, right? You're not guaranteeing that 1 year this doesn't stick and actually work and this team doesn't win a World Series. So you're giving that hope up, guaranteed, just for him to wake up. But it doesn't mean that this team can't keep doing what it's doing and somehow find themselves in a World Series and win it. I don't know. It's a tough question.
I mean, he really should have pulled the plug on this thing at the end last year.
Yeah, he should have, but that's our proof now that he's not waking up. And what I was going to say earlier is, to be fair, it's not all ownership or management's fault as to where we are now. It is 100% their fault that we are still here. But if you really think about it, all the positions you just named, I mean, Aaron Hicks at the time, when they signed that contract, would you say that was a bad contract for the Yankees? I mean, we were pretty supportive of it, given the fact that it was a very team-friendly contract on a guy who, you know, had much more of an upside than a downside.
No, I think what he got, what he got paid, even though I never was a big Hicks fan, I thought he would have met that in terms of output.
Right. And
he hasn't. So
I mean, catcher. If you look at Gary Sanchez, can you blame the Yankees for thinking that this kid was going to be a superstar?
I mean, how many years are we past that now?
Yes, but
3?
How many years have we really not had the opportunity to do much with it? I mean, the Yankees kind of missed their opportunity because of his downslide.
Yeah, I mean, but for a guy like Gary Sanchez who doesn't make any money and it's an easy guy to trade. And,
again, to my point, though,
did Brian Cashman not even bother exploring what was out there?
Well, to my point, it's not necessarily their fault to where we are. It's that we're stuck here. That's their fault because they're not waking up. So
yeah, I mean, whose fault is it? I mean,
it's theirs.
I mean, they continually put the same product out.
Exactly. But my point is, initially, it's not necessarily that these were terrible moves or terrible thoughts or terrible outlooks on how this team could perform. It's a matter of sitting here and wondering when they're going to wake up with the rest of the world and say, it's not working. And I'm not sitting here saying you have to go out and buy a bunch of superstars. All I'm asking for at this point is to acknowledge that what you're doing and the strategy you're putting forward is not anywhere near working.
A lot of it seems like they're holding on to a lot of players, where they're holding on to what Gleyber Torres once was and what Gary Sanchez once was, Aaron Hicks. And that's kind of, they're past that point now where they have to sort of let go. And they're not going to be that shell. They're more of shells of what they once were at this point, rather.
See, the thing is, the Yankees have gotten to themselves to a point with Gary Sanchez that they don't have to make a decision on him now. They let him play this year and then they move on. There's nothing. There's no hard decision making to do there. They're just, they're like, oh well, we'll just keep him another year and then that's it. We can let him walk and whatever. When even you want to say how many years that they could have made a hard decision on him and gotten somebody in here that maybe didn't have the upside that he had, but was more consistent.
Right.
I
agree.
And I mean, we're, he didn't start the wild, right? He didn't start the wild card game this year.
No, of course
Higashioka
not,
did,
because
right?
he couldn't. He
I
couldn't.
mean, so I mean, I don't want to get into this debate again, which because I hate it, and it's one of the things. It's probably the thing that I hate most about Garrett Cole, and it's the thing that is probably his biggest strike against him is that he doesn't like Gary. I mean, and we talked about this. Is that Gary Sanchez started opening day last year for theater? That's all it was, because immediately after that, the Yankees went right back to the thing with Higashioka, and you know that's part
that right off the
and
bat.
I mean that's part Sanchez's problem because he allowed it because of his poor play. But at the same time, the Yankees fed into what Garrett Cole wanted to do in that regard, which isn't right, because at times it did hamstring the team because Kyle Higashioka is not a good baseball player.
Well,
Right.
I say this all the time. I'm not someone who's going to sit here and cry that they let a backup catcher go. But if the Yankees could foresee what was coming, and the fact that they weren't going to trust Gary Sanchez behind the plate, I mean, because it's not like they did this just with Garrett Cole. I mean, it's been happening for a while. Why not hang on to the guy who you can argue was the best backup catcher in baseball? Why not hang on to Austin Romine?
Because they liked Higashioka and he was cheaper. That's why.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Another
no,
cheaper.
and I think Romine also wanted a chance to start too, which is why he left.
Yeah, and
I mean, what he ended up getting paid if the Yankees would have offered that, it wasn't a lot of money. What did he get? Like a $3 million deal? If the Yankees
But
offered
I think it was more of that he was the starter for the Tigers.
I
remember Austin Romine.
Yeah, no, you're 100%.
There was something behind that where he wanted to kind of,
and good for him. He in a grand sense, not so much for the Yankees by any means, but I think Austin Romine was a fringe enough to say that, I could probably start on a team out there. There probably is a team out there that I could start on. Definitely Tigers, being Tigers. One of those teams. But at the end of the day, it's just like I need some moves that make sense. We have a couple, right? We definitely have a couple moves that have made sense, but it seems like with each year that passes without a World Series, more and more decisions just.
I don't know if he was hurt last year, but he only played in 28 games with the Cubs. He did play in 37. Who? Austin Romine.
He ended up with the Cubs?
Yeah, and then in 2020, his first year away from the Yankees, he played in 37 games, which it was more than half the season. So, it's hard to tell with the COVID stuff. But
I mean, he's not a starter. Right. I'm not sitting here arguing that he's a starting catcher.
I'm just saying whatever his salary would have been, it wasn't something that I looked at and be like, wow, I can't believe he got that much money. If the Yankees really wanted to retain him, they could have, but they didn't because they had Higashioka.
He sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get it. Like you said, it's not something that you're going to really, but the Yankees didn't. I mean, they did need a better option behind Gary Sanchez, somebody that when Gary goes through these lulls that he's in, where he's completely lost, that you could stick a guy in there and feel okay for a week or two.
Because other than some defensive points, obviously, I think Higashioka behind the plate blocking balls is better. He doesn't have a better arm, but obviously there. But like, if you're gonna sit Gary Sanchez for being a piece of shit, don't you want a guy up there that's not an automatic out, at least? A guy that's going to put... And I'm not saying Higashioka doesn't go through his moments where he hits some Higgy bombs. I'm not saying he's a complete waste. But for the amount of time the Yankees had to anticipate that they'd be sitting Gary Sanchez, why wouldn't you want more of a viable option as a backup catcher? A guy that the guy that's a little more proven, seasoned in the major leagues than Higashioka. It's just another move that just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Dude, Christian's distracted. What's going on? Because I know the Bills are marching downfield.
Was watching on 4th down, Josh Allen ran for one. That was really nice.
There's nothing going on. I'm waiting for you to say what you were going to say.
No, look, it's not an argument. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm not sitting here saying the Yankees are fucked because they let Austin Romine go. All I'm asking for, I'm just trying to prove that I'm not asking necessarily for the world out of this team at this point. All I'm asking for are some decisions that make sense. And we're not even getting that anymore. I mean, I'll go back until I'm blue in the face on the Robbie Ray deal. Nothing about that made sense. Absolutely nothing. And it's frustrating.
It comes down to them clearly having a plan in place to not spend until this lockout's figured out.
Except for that they were trying to spend money, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Spend in the ways that they wanted to, but I guess they didn't want to do any sort of bidding wars.
Well, I mean, Rye, how could you not want to spend $23 million on a guy who just won Cy Young to put behind?
Because it was more than 1 year, and they don't want to look too far
crazy.
ahead. I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just ridiculous.
The thing that shows to the fans whether or not this team is all in isn't how much they even spend this offseason. It's what they do with their prospects. That's going to be the measure of whether or not this team is all in. Are they going to hoard all of these prospects and hold on to them, or are they going to sell them off and get some pieces because they need more than one piece to help the team right now win? That's what it comes down to. And they're
I mean, Robbie Ray's going to hit. Robbie Ray's hitting free agency at 34. I mean, it's a 5-year, $115 million contract. He's entering his age 30 season, so you're going to get him through the rest of the prime of his career. It doesn't make any sense.
And on top of that, he showed success in the American League East, which is big to do.
I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest Robbie Ray fan, but that contract that where the Yankees are going to be putting themselves in a position now where they have to rely on Luis Severino to be their number 2, and you can't do that.
Bills just scored a go-ahead touchdown in under 2 minutes.
Damn.
I mean, you can't rely on Luis Severino to be the number 2 starter for this team.
No, not at all.
You can't. You absolutely can't. And I'm not saying he can't be. We're not sitting here saying he can't be. He absolutely could come out.
I don't know that he. Do you know that he can? Do you know that he can be?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, none of us know for sure.
Absolutely shocking to me if Severino comes out this year and he performs.
And
as
that's the problem. And that's the problem. You have to sit realistically and say there's more of a chance he either gets hurt or doesn't, fall into his rhythm than there is anything else, because that's what we know. That's what we know right now. Even in his best start to a year, when he was the most dominant pitcher up until the All-Star break, he shit the bed the rest of the season.
Yep.
So show me the proof that Severino can go 162 game season being at least the number 2. You can't. And that's the problem. He's just another question mark. Again, could he be? Yeah. I mean, if Severino stays healthy and works hard this offseason, of course he has the potential. He has the talent. But is it likely based off of what we've gotten out of him in the past? I can't say that it is.
No.
I hope I'm wrong.
No, and that's what's so frustrating about this whole thing to me. And I know I've said it before, is that the Yankees put money in front of Justin Verlander. Why? Why did they do that? If they were seemingly unwilling to do that with anybody else leading into the lockout.
Doesn't make sense, man. Again, just another move that doesn't make sense.
1 year for Justin Verlander or 5 for Robbie Ray. I mean, what are you telling me? If you're telling me that but here's the thing. What are you telling me about your rotation past 2022? Are you telling me that you have some studs coming up here?
I haven't heard of many.
I mean, because if you had any type of feeling about Tyone, right? He's hurt and he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
And he wasn't ever that impressive, right?
Yeah, he had a good stretch where he was the best pitcher in baseball.
He was really good. He was really good for a 4 or 5 week span.
Okay, but I need more than 4 or 5 weeks, and then
but you're also talking about a guy that hadn't pitched in 2 years, and I think he was rounded into shape at that point. and he got hurt again. Which again,
There you
I
go.
mean,
Yeah, so now they're gonna have to round him into shape, and that won't be until like July where he'll be ready to go full force. He's gonna need a month or two to get into form, I guess.
so I mean, that's why Robbie Ray made so much sense, and I don't know. I don't. That's the one that you look at and you and you say to yourself, what were you guys doing there?
Again,
Yeah, that's the one. You're right. I agree with that.
I mean,
they keep tallying up too many moves that don't make sense, whether it is a move that they made or a move that they pass up on.
Because it's not like this guy got. It's not like this guy got 8-9 years. He got 5.
Mhm.
He's going to hit free agency at 34 years old. I mean, what type of risk are you taking by signing?
Zero. A lot less of a risk than signing Verlander or guys like Kluber or even fucking Tyone guy coming off his second Tommy John.
Mhm.
So you can't talk to me about risk taking, especially in a guy like fucking Robbie Ray. What risk? What risk are we even talking about here? There was no risk. It made too much sense. It made too much sense. And again, it's just where we lie as fans at this point. And it's the catalyst of all the frustration that we feel at this point. So it's not about being competitive. It's not about making the playoffs. It's about where's the moves to get us past this.
So if you're telling me that the Yankees didn't sign Robbie Ray, which again, how does it make any sense when they were going to give more for this season to Justin Verlander? This is what I can't wrap my head around. If they were waiting for whatever the number was before they started signing guys, then you're not what's the word? You're not doing your job. Okay, you're just not.
Right.
Because if you're sitting there waiting for whatever the luxury tax number is going to be, then what you're telling me is that you're more concerned about luxury tax and your revenue, blah blah blah, instead of what your on-field product is.
Well, because as fans, we're sitting here and we're talking based on ownership and management that seems like it's reluctancy getting in the way of everything. But when you talk about Robbie Ray, it seems more of incompetence, and that's where it gets to a point where you're like, we can sit here and see the reluctance of wanting to spend more money. But when it comes down to incompetence, then you really start to question what the fuck is going on. Because we're used to the whole not going over the luxury tax and all that bullshit and getting guys of high risk and, low risk, high reward type things. But to see just pure incompetence mixed in with that is really damaging.
Ooh. Oh, Tyreek Hill. Oh, man, that was a 60-yard touchdown pass. Now the Chiefs are back up ahead with a minute left.
Thanks. I'm a little delayed.
Oops.
That's illegal, by the way. You can't do play-by-play live.
Wow.
Okay. All right. What if I do it? What if I do it as Mike? Okay. All right.
Watch me watch the game. Okay.
All right. We got Joe Namath here.
Wow, I can't believe what just happened in that game. Patrick Mahomes went back. He threw the ball.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn, I just watched it. Damn. Too much time.
I like Tyreek Hill. I wish he was a ball player. If he was a baseball player, I'll tell you, we wouldn't just call him the cheetah. We'd probably buy a cheetah, and we'd have it out in the ball club in the dugout. I once drafted a cheetah based off his speed, and that's a story for another day.
Oh, that's a good impression, dude. That's a good buck.
Thanks, bro.
That's a good buck.
So,
So,
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies with the way this team is being run right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, but is it? That's the question.
no, not right now. It's not.
Well,
it's not
no,
right
because unlike the Giants, and I'm not digging at the Giants, but the Yankees have not hit rock bottom, and that might be what it takes for this team to see true change.
But the Yankees will never hit rock bottom.
I know, so then they're never going to change. especially if the business margins and everything like that are still up positive, because the Yankees are making more money than any other team in the sport, no matter who they put out there.
The way that the Major League Baseball is set up compared to the NFL is that the Yankees will never hit that point unless guys just don't sign here anymore and these prospects don't hit. And then you look at a situation where the Yankees might be a 70-win team.
Yeah, but it's crazy because look at even the international signings. They come right to the Yankees.
Great, but what does that mean? These kids are 16 years old.
I know. I'm just adding to your point, though, that they're the kind of team that's just another facet of that, where they're the kind of team that it's very difficult for them to hit rock bottom. They're always going to have some way of building a winning team.
Well, how many years now? What's the streak up to that the Yankees have had to win?
Almost 30 years. 30 years.
Oh, there you have
it. What was it? 92 was the last time they had a losing year?
Yeah. Or 91.
Or was it 90? Was it 92, 93, somewhere?
It was definitely not 93. It was either 91 or 92.
94 was.
94. The old 94 season strike.
I mean, that was a tough year, 94.
Yeah, was it? You were like what, 15?
Oh, I was old enough. To do
close.
They were 88.
What, do drugs? You were gonna say?
I was old in. They were 88 and 74 in 93. And so that had to be.
They were 76 and 86 and 92. And who was their manager?
92 was the last year.
Yeah, that was. I was coaching there too. I was the coach. I was the head coach. Yeah, that wasn't a good year. We came back down there in 95 and we started turning things corner. I like that team. It's a good
team. Gene Michaels. Yeah. Gene Michaels, excuse me, was the GM.
I mean, that's, everybody looks at Buck's resume without that World Series, and you look at the two teams that won immediately after he left in the Yankees and Arizona, and 94, the Yankees were the best team in the American League when the strike happened. So, what could have been, and it could have been for Don Mattingly too. Just didn't happen.
Oh man!
And that's why Bud let steroids in, because
baseball was fucking on a fucking.
The sport was fucked up after the strike. They canceled the World Series, and he needed something to bring fans back. And he was like, "Hey, let's do some steroids here."
Manfred's like, "How can we fuck it up again?"
Yeah, don't they learn from that shit? They fucking almost killed the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they'll have roids in the CBA.
Maybe.
Well, someone had a joke. I forget who it was. Like, every team should have one player. They should be allowed one player.
That's good.
A designated juice head?
Yeah, a designated juicer. DJ.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one of the things that they are going to sneak into the new CBA is they're going to be a
spider tack type.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's also
a good one.
Universal DH. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that if you think the Yankees are going to do the right thing, it's going to create 15 more landing spots for Luke Voigt to get him the hell out of here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think the universal DH is a given. I don't think anyone's going to fight it. I think the players want it, and as long as those two things are true, it'll happen. As long as those two things are true.
Yeah, so I guess we can.
That'll get worked
I guess
out.
We got a few minutes. Maybe we could play with here. If you want to wrap up on this, is that if you want to say that the three best pitchers in Major League Baseball reside in New York, I don't know if that's terrible
100%
stretch.
True.
I don't know if that's a terrible stretch right there. I think you could probably make the argument. Do you think Garrett Cole has the best year out of the three guys, and the other two guys obviously being Scherzer and Jacob DeGrom?
Am I talking as a Yankee fan, or am I talking as a realistic person looking in at the season? Am I talking about an analyst of baseball, or am I talking as a fan?
I mean, do you want to be a fan, or do you want to have credibility in what you're going to say?
I would rather have credibility. I think Garrett Cole's going to have an amazing season. I really do. But I think that Jacob DeGrom will have the best year out of all of them. I do. I think the guy's been too consistent.
Touchdown. Wow.
Why? You guys are really assholes. Because
I wasn't going to say anything.
I'm delayed here. I'm watching on my phone.
I'm watching on my phone as well. So
I think DeGrom, okay? So so what do you think?
Well, and this isn't to say that I didn't want Max Scherzer. I mean, we went through this how many episodes ago that, even if there was all this heat, I guess is the word, between him and the Yankees, and he would have never come here, that, Cashman still should have, tried to get him here. But I think I think Scherzer definitely is going to be third on the list.
Oh, I hope so. Because if he's second and I think DeGrom's first, then the Mets might win the World Series.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You need more than 2 pitchers to win the World Series.
Don't think so.
No, I don't know how good. I mean, you got to see how good they are offensively.
We'll see.
I mean, it's a start.
Yeah.
They don't. Do you trust Edwin Diaz closing games?
No.
All right.
I haven't trusted him since they got him and thought he was good.
All right. Well,
Good point. Okay.
It's still. I mean, you still got to cover 60% of your games outside of Scherzer and DeGrom, and those guys aren't going 9. So
Yeah, but the question becomes: Can the Mets make the playoffs?
No, I mean, if they don't make the playoffs this year, I mean, Bucks got to get
that's the
fired.
question. That's the only question you need to ask. And if your answer is yes,
I don't know about that.
If your answer is yes, they can make the playoffs. Then having Scherzer and DeGrom that's where it becomes money.
Yeah, I mean, but Scherzer was hurt in the postseason this year. Didn't even make his starts.
That arm there, yeah.
I mean, so there are definitely question marks around.
There's rumors, though. There's rumors that there might be another arm headed over to the New York Mets once this lockout's done.
Yeah, who's that?
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, okay.
The landing spot for Kershaw will be either the Dodgers or the Mets.
Why not the Yankees?
I mean, do you really want Kershaw?
Yeah, I want anyone at this point, dude. I want anyone, Christian. I want anyone.
No, you don't want anyone because, again, what do we always talk about? These guys with injuries. When's the last time Kershaw stayed healthy for an entire year?
All right, that was
You're going to give him $30 million
now.
Well, when's the last time our number 2? When's the last time our number 2 stayed healthy for an entire season?
So keep adding more questions. Yeah. We talked about this last year. Questions on top of questions. We only asked the Yankees last offseason. We only had one wish for the Yankees, right? Or one request and that was that you erase the question marks out of the starting rotation. And they didn't do that because they added more question marks to the starting rotation because the guys they brought in and Tyone and Kluber were question marks. And what happened to them? What happened to both of them?
We are going to start banging.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
Surprising too with Robbie Ray that they didn't offer him something because he had Tommy John surgery a few years ago.
Yeah, so it's like Cashman. Cashman was only pissed that he passed up on Robbie Ray because he didn't know he had Tommy John.
Yeah, maybe
once he found out, he was like, "Fuck!" Because how'd you guys not tell me?
I wanted to look that up to see because I know Verlander just had it. So that was fresh in Cashman's mind. Maybe that's
so
why
that was
Verlander
that's why right
the contract. Yeah, so that explains that.
I mean, Kershaw hasn't made 30 starts in a year since 2015. Made 22 last year.
I didn't know he's been that hurt.
I mean, he only threw 121 innings last year. I mean, so yeah, you want to go and get him? Go ahead and get him then. And then you'll be on this show bitching and complaining that he's hurt and he's on the IL and blah, blah, fucking blah. So, no, I'm not in a rush to go out there and get Clayton Kershaw. You want to go and get him because he's a sexy name and be the Yankees doing something? Then fucking say that. But if you want to sign him because you think he's going to erase problems that this team has, that's fucking wrong. It's false.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. It was more of a joke than anything else. But there's no way that the Chiefs don't tie this game. There's no way. There's
5 seconds left.
Don't tell me.
So, I mean, the Mets want to go out there and get Clayton Kershaw,
Tell me.
go right ahead. I mean, that's a really sexy 1-2-3. But again, with DeGrom didn't finish the year last year. Scherzer didn't finish the year last year. Kershaw didn't finish the year last year. These are all guys that are still hurt, and yeah, they're great. And I would love two to three of them to be on the Yankees, absolutely. But again, what are we looking at when we talk about a guy like Clayton Kershaw?
Injury.
Are we looking at
Question mark.
Let's say there was no lockout and you woke up tomorrow and the Yankees signed Clayton Kershaw, do you think the Yankees are that much closer to winning World Series?
No.
Oh my God! Now the Chiefs just. All right, sorry.
Could you just shut the fuck up and let me watch, or end this show so I can watch live, please? I want to watch.
Man, dude, what a game!
I mean, the NFL got lucky this weekend, and you can
It's
ask
all
for
rigged. You don't think
it.
it's
Yeah,
rigged?
okay.
You don't think it's rigged? Come on,
Everything's rigged.
Secrets.
dude. There's so many players. There's so many fucking players who have come out and said that it's rigged.
Okay.
Look at this. Oh,
I hate
man.
people like you.
All right,
I told you.
Okay.
Oh wait,
told
this
you.
is gonna be. This will tie the game. This will
Yes,
give them
I
the
just
win.
said
Nice.
that. I said this is gonna.
Oh,
go
he
to
missed
OT.
it. He missed it.
No, that was a fake.
Yeah.
That was a fake. He missed it. Just shut the fuck up. Come
Wide
on, man.
left.
I'm going. I'm leaving.
All right, bye.
No wait, go. Wait, we're done.
No, we're not done.
No, we got rambling Christian now. What
Well,
do you
it's
want to ramble
49
about?
yarder. Bucka kicks it, and it is. Oh, he missed
Overtime.
it. Wide left. He missed it. Oh,
Wow.
Okay. Well. Oh God.
Just shut the fuck up.
Wow, he did. What a kick by Butker there. I can't
All right, so let's
believe it.
Let's get back on point here.
Yeah.
So you think Garrett Cole sucks, is what you're saying?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I think he sucks. No,
Yeah.
I think it's only fair to say DeGrom. I mean, who's been more consistent than
look,
Jacob
if they're
DeGrom?
if they're all healthy, then it's the Grom. You'd hope it's the Grom, Cole, Scherzer.
No, why would you hope that?
Well, you'd hope it more than Scherzer.
You would hope.
being-
You would hope. You're right. You would hope it's Cole, the Grom's Scherzer, but you would hope that it's not. If they're all healthy, Cole, Scherzer. DeGrom, Scherzer, Cole.
Yeah. You want Cole first
But
or
I'm not.
second?
I can't put anyone above Jacob DeGrom, dude. He's the best pitcher of our generation right now. I'd say.
Probably
Yeah,
ever.
except for when I'm at the dish, because I got great numbers against the Grom. I'll tell you what.
He might be the best pitcher of this generation, but will he have a better year than Garrett
He
Cole?
might be
in
the best
2022?
pitcher ever.
Yeah.
No, come on, stop that.
Stop that. Why?
What do you mean? Why?
In
Why do you
modern
al-
baseball.
But
In
why
modern
do you
baseball.
always I'm not gonna argue that this is wrong, but why do you always have to take it to this fucking extreme? It can't just be a little like he's great.
But hold on. Okay, so tell me in modern day baseball, okay, who's better than Jacob
Well-
DeGrom? Tell me. I'm not talking World Series and shit like
His
that.
his teammate might be better than him.
What? Are you out of your fucking mind? Honestly.
Oh God, Christian.
Yeah, dude, you got so much
Get
COVID
a
left.
drink, dude.
Get a drink. Oh, we got a man down. Come on, dude, get a drink.
I don't need a drink.
What are you looking up? Scherzer's numbers? Just give me ERA. I'm an ERA guy. I base everything off ERA. It's really the only stat you need.
All right. Well, if you're gonna go just based on ERA, then yeah,
Yeah, by how much? Tell me.
half a run.
Yeah, okay. There you go. I mean, what else? Strikeouts. Tell me strikeouts.
Scherzer.
Well, Scherzer's
Scherzer's
been
goal.
around much longer.
Scherzer set a record though, I think, of most consecutive years at 300 or something.
Tell me K
Or
per
no,
nine.
that was Chris Sale, I believe.
Tell me K per nine.
We're
Cole
lost
probably
now.
has
Probably
Cole
DeGrom.
probably has a K9.
Probably DeGrom. So no. I mean, what's DeGrom's career ERA right now?
2.5.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
2.5. You show me a better starting pitcher than that.
He was a shortstop. He was a shortstop in college.
Ah. So was
Well, they say that
Torres.
might be a part of why his arm has been able to hold up so nicely. It's less taxed. So was Gleyber Torres. He didn't go to fucking college.
What's that supposed to mean?
Not in America.
Wasn't he signed when he was like 12?
Man, he was signed internationally.
What's that supposed to mean? You say he's too stupid to go to college?
No, he's smart.
Signed.
I
think he was signed by the Cubs before he was even eligible to go to fucking college. 17 years old.
All right, let's not talk about minor league baseball players. We don't want to trigger anybody. Okay?
Oh, that's all. That's all. Asshole in the comments. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, dude. What was up with that?
Let me tell you
guy,
something.
Dude,
there's a difference between opinions and there's a difference between actual facts or even opinions rooted in your knowledge of baseball. My opinion on how much a fucking minor league baseball player should be paid has nothing to do with my knowledge of baseball.
Yeah, like we pulled it up. Like that's not something honestly, that I'm thinking about.
I'll thank you for not watching the show anymore. Thank you.
I will say this. If you are watching and you're really that fascinated with minor league baseball, and do yourself a favor and check out a documentary called The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It's a great documentary.
I love that documentary.
I know, and I can't suggest it enough. It's about the creation of minor league baseball, and it's actually very, very interesting.
We are not affiliated with The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
But it's on Netflix, or it was.
Or Netflix.
Yeah.
Do you want to get a deal with Netflix? You want to stream exclusively on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be great.
You know the CEO of Netflix?
Yeah.
You gonna get him on?
Yeah, I'll get him on.
All right.
Okay.
Next episode.
Great.
So Ryan,
dude, what more could you have to say?
Don't worry about it. I'm talking to Ryan now. So Ryan, so what's your take? You think Garrett Cole sucks too?
No, I don't think he sucks, but
what would that? What if a reporter walked into the Zoom room and asked Garrett Cole if he was the third best pitcher in New York? What do you think Garrett Cole might say?
What did he say to Marley Rivera that one time?
Have you not looked at my stats?
Look at the stats. Just look at the stats, and that'll show you that I am not just the second best pitcher, but I'm the best. He has a career 2.5. I had that in Houston when I won 20 games. Where's my wife? We gotta throw. I gotta get a long toss.
Did you post on Instagram?
I'll just say this to wrap up this train wreck of a segment here. I think this is going to be the year for Garrett Cole. I mean, I don't think if the Yankees don't win a World Series during his tenure here, I don't think that's going to be his fault, because I don't think that the Yankees are doing everything they need to do to be that team right now.
Is this you just... Let me ask you a question. Is this genuinely how you feel, or is this that you've put too much into the SMD tour?
No, because I think
you can't turn back.
No, first of all, I think he's going to have a monster year this year. I think he's got a lot to prove to a lot of people.
I do too.
But I also think that that's why I asked the question. You want to say Jacob DeGrom is better than him? That's fine, but that doesn't mean that Jacob DeGrom is going to have a better year than Garrett Cole in 2022.
Fair.
But again, at the end of the day, even if Garrett Cole has a Ron Guidry 1978 type season, does that mean the Yankees are winning the World Series this year?
Not as it stands right now.
So that's the problem. Is that the Yankee?
I don't know, man. If he can go out and pitch big game after big game in the postseason, where he is lights out in all of his starts in the postseason, then they can absolutely win a World Series as constructed right now.
No, they can't.
Oh, no way, dude.
Ryan, at this team, as we sit here on January 23rd, you think can win a World Series?
No.
Absolutely.
Dude, they don't even have Zach Britton.
If you're telling me that Garrett Cole would go out there and pitch the way that he's capable of, then I am sure that a guy like Jordan Montgomery can step up and be a solid number two. Domingo Germán can give them decent innings. Their bullpen's good enough. Their offense should be one of the best offenses in baseball, and they should be able to.
Not the way it is right now.
And it should be spring. Dude, they put up. I mean, if you're talking about American League offenses, then yes, the Yankees are in the top five.
Yeah, Ryan, they were terrible offensively last year, and they've gotten worse because they don't have
All right,
a fucking shortstop
You're
Or a first
taking
baseman.
away the
Or
what
first
I'm
baseman.
saying is that if you can get a perfect Garrett Cole, then this team can go on a run. Because if you had a perfect Garrett Cole in this year's postseason, then they could have went on a run. If they won that first game, then they could have went on a run. You look
I'm
at
not
how
even-
if
I'm
you
not
look at
even-
how the postseason works, it is teams going on runs at the right time behind one or
Absolutely.
maybe two good starting pitchers. You look at how the Washington Nationals won. It was Steven Strasburg stepping up. It was Howie Kendrick stepping up. You look at the Red Sox. It was Evaldi stepping up, and it was Steven Pierce stepping up. So you can't tell me that the Yankees don't have a Steven Pierce on this team or a Howie Kendrick on this team that can complement a dominant, perfect performance from Garrett Cole, and they don't have a roster that can
Look,
back that up.
I think your
it would
argument.
it would take a lot, but my argument is that Garrett Cole has to have a perfect postseason where he's going 7 shutout, 7 1-inning, 7 1-run.
I
where he's
think your
pitching lights
argument
out.
would be more realistic in my mind if they at least
Come on,
made
the fucking
one other
Braves.
move.
The Braves won the World Series this year, guys, without their 3 best players. Charlie Morton broke his leg after the first game. They
I'm
didn't
not
have
saying
Ronald
it can't
Acuna.
happen. It's that movie. What's that
They didn't
movie?
have the best pitch,
Hey,
the best
it could
player in
happen.
baseball.
It
Yeah,
could happen.
that's Angels in the Outfield.
That's game over, dude. Yeah, I know it's Angels in the Outfield. Listen, I get it, but I still need at least one more move plus
Yeah,
Garrett
of
Cole being
course.
perfect.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm of course. But to say that this team can't is wrong because we've seen World Series winners over the
So
last
what you're
5
saying
or so
then is
years.
that they're a playoff team right now.
Yeah, I think that they can get into the playoffs right now. Sure.
Well, then sure, anything could happen.
Right. Anything can happen.
It could
Right.
happen.
And that's how baseball has worked the last 5.
Yeah, the Yankees haven't
of my
gotten
recent
hot.
memory.
The Yankees haven't gotten hot when they needed to since 2017, and that's why that team went on the run they did.
Yeah, but look at this past year. Their 2 best offensive players played at the top of their capabilities, and they were somehow worse offensively than they had been in years.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
So even if Garrett Cole raises his game above and beyond what we expect out of him,
Well,
what is that?
You don't think that DJ LeMahieu is capable of having a better year than he had this year?
Yeah, I
Because
mean, I
don't you
do,
see
but-
that? Don't you think him not performing was a major reason why they didn't do anything this year?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't do things. They weren't as good as they should have been this year. But you're telling if you're going to think that because Garrett Cole is on a certain level that it could bring the Yankees to a World Series, as currently constructed, this is not a playoff team. No matter how good Garrett Cole is, they need a lot of work. They're not a player away, and that's a real big problem. That's a real big problem that we're sitting here in 2022 and and we're talking about the Yankees needing more than just a player. If you're telling me like they needed a first baseman, a catcher, a this, a that, that's fine. That's one thing, but they need like 5 or 6 fucking players.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And that's a fucking
What's that
problem.
click? What's that click that you do?
I don't know. It's not me.
What are you doing?
That's my meth. Take a shot.
Do it. I'm
I
smoking.
can't believe the Bills lost.
I know.
What a game!
I'm fucking so mad, dude.
I actually missed that.
Unbelievable.
I missed the touchdown.
Every team I've rooted for, except the Bengals, I guess I was rooting for. I like Joe Burrow. He's a fucking nutcase, that dude.
Yeah, he's good.
Now I don't like the hire. I don't like the Giants hire now
Why?
because he was
Bills
the
guy,
assistant.
right?
He was the assistant GM in Buffalo, and they just fucking lost.
Well, yeah. What a
Unbelievable.
shit team.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
they had a good quarterback and a good wide receiver. That's all you fucking need. Giants haven't had either of those 2 things at the same time.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And Odell's still going. On the other end, St. Louis. I mean, Los Angeles.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Now Mahomes is going to have to stand 6 feet away from this woman while they talk, and then as soon as the camera's over, he'll hug her.
Yeah, I'll give her a nice hug. Yeah,
He's not the dude from Waterboy.
He's the dude. He is though.
No,
You ever hear him talk?
No,
He sounds weird.
No, Mahomes.
Yeah, he does
is
talk like that.
Sounds like Slanky.
He's so good.
Yeah,
you
you
can
know,
do-
I went to the Chiefs game and I won.
So
He's
Patrick
dead,
Mahomes.
that guy.
Yeah.
If you
what
can
was his
do a
name?
Garrett Cole, you can
Ernst.
do Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
well,
got the rasp, but he's higher. He's an octave higher.
Yeah.
A lot of battles. I'm glad we got this one. We're going to try to keep it rolling. We got a good team coming in next
Yeah,
week.
good
But
team.
it could be an Arrowhead if they
It's not. I feel like he fixed it. It wasn't.
Yeah, he fixed
It's
it.
like he definitely looked in the mirror.
I agree.
Recorded.
It's
and
because
listened to himself.
it's the commercials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the COVID.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for for that. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So next week we're gonna do trivia. Maybe we'll have some news regarding the start of the season. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably not.
Probably not. But you know they're meeting Monday, and we'll see where that goes. Probably won't go anywhere. I'm not optimistic.
There better be some progress tomorrow.
There
You know
will
what the
be.
progress will be is that they'll take off another day on the calendar.
Yep.
Until push comes to shove, I don't really see anything happening, and we're not there yet. So all right. So this has been episode 266 of the NYYST podcast, presented by NYYNewsTV. Please follow us on Twitter at NYYST_podcast. Thank you very much for listening. SGR,
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Before it hits the front